Beas, I've been wanting to get this off the ground for a little over a year now. The circumstances presented itself where it doesn't have to be perfect. I finally got you the first interview I'm going to have here, and this is going to be all over ESPN. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. It's good to see your face. It's good to see
It's
your
good to
face. It's
see
been a
you.
while. It's been a while.
What's life in Houston like for you right now?
Man, it's cool. Like I was, in Houston, 6 years. So I made it my home. I enjoy the city. I enjoy the people. So I'm gonna stay unless I have to move.
You're in Houston right now.
Yeah, I'm in Houston right now. Yeah, at
Considering
home.
everything that's going on right now, what's Houston like?
I mean, obviously, it's a little bit of panic. I'm in the burbs. So obviously all that toilet paper and all that, all the, disinfectant stuff, antibacterial things. That's all gone. There's no there's no more on the shelves. But it's kind of chill, in my area, in my county. There's only been, I think, 3 or 4, outbreaks. So it's not as bad as, obviously as other cities in other places. So it's not, not too bad. But at the same time, I'm taking precaution. I'm staying inside, not going
Right.
outside, and doing my part. So
All right. Let's focus on something positive. Obviously, we want to be there and show solidarity with everybody, but we want to brighten up everybody's day and talk about something other than what's going on. Let's talk about some football, man. You're a GOAT in this. You're a U.S. men's national team legend. Your
appreciate it.
resume speaks for itself. I have to be honest with people. I sent you a mini rundown of what it's going to be like, and in
Right.
the rundown I had, DaMarcus Beasley over 400 games and in 17-year career. And you corrected me. That's fine, but it's over 500 games in your career.
Exactly. Hey, we might as well get it right. We talking, might as well get it right.
All right, so let's go into DaMarcus Beasley and the GOAT that is DaMarcus Beasley, where it all started. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Take me through. What's it like? I've never been to Indiana. I've never been to Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
For somebody who's not from there, what was life growing up for you?
It's the suburban life, small life. I think back then, obviously 30-something years ago, it was maybe 250,000 people, I think, something like that. Obviously it's grown since then, but it's just one big suburb basically. Slow, hardworking families. Just everyone trying doing their part in the community a lot. It's just a small town, small town city basically.
So how does DaMarcus Beasley from Fort Wayne get into football, get into soccer?
I mean, I don't have any, no history of soccer in my family, before myself and my brother. My dad played, football and basketball. My mom did a little bit of track, when she was in college. In high school. But that was it, and basically my dad just wanted us to be active and get out of the house and, try to pick up sports and just be, sporty kids. That's it, and he brought a ball home one day, and when I was about 5, my brother was, 6, 7, something like that. And then that's kind of all she wrote.
So your brother played as well, Jamal. Who was the better player growing up? Jamar, I'm sorry. Who's the better player between you two?
Oh,
I
my
played
brother.
against him, actually. I played indoor against him.
Yeah, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, my 1,000,000% my brother. Anybody will tell you that. My brother was the, how every, small town has that one star player in the city that everyone, looks at and everyone's like, oh, man, he's the. But my brother had basketball, he had soccer, he even played a little bit of football too. He was a kicker and, he did a little bit of quarterback. So my brother was that guy. He was that dude in high school and middle school growing up. So my brother was 10 times better than I was when I was younger.
So what was that like for you to have that kind of role model and your brother kind of be in that elevated status and you trying to come up through the ranks?
Yeah, man. For me, to be honest, I don't think without my brother, I wouldn't have been the player that I am today. And that's real. And I'm not just trying to say that because of my brother, but I got that. You can't teach competitiveness. You can't teach that. Either you have it or you don't. You like to compete or you don't. And I had that when I was younger. And that was come from my brother. I idolized him, but at the same time, I had the mentality that what he could do, I tried to do. It never lived up to that when I was younger. But he pushed me to be better. You know what I'm saying? And I had that older brother to look up to and trying to get to his level. And I always wanted to win. I was a scrappy, scrawny little kid. Always, fighting at his tails. So that's, like I said, for me, if I didn't have my brother, a lot of this probably wouldn't have that spirit that I have inside me when I play football. I wouldn't have that.
When did you realize that you were good, that you could maybe make something out of this, maybe make it a profession?
Oh, a profession? I mean, obviously, when you're a kid, you know that you have some talent, But I was from Indiana. I never knew there was a whole world, and people from California, from New York, playing the same, playing soccer. You don't think that you don't think about that when you're a kid. I was happy playing in my little Pepsi league, playing in my travel team, and we traveled to different places and everything like that. But I think for me, once I really knew that. I could try to make a go at this. Was my first ODP, camp. Don't ask me the year because I really don't remember what year. I think I was probably I think it was a U14 age, I want to say.
Oh, so back in the 70s.
Yeah, back in the 60s. Hey, you're older than me. Don't forget about that. Yeah, but yeah, something like that, and I think that's when I first was like, okay, I'm all right. I could see different, players in my area. And funny story, I didn't make my state team the first year. I got cut. They said I was too small. I got cut. Yeah, my first time I was trying for ODP, I got cut. I cried in the car.
What did they tell you? The feedback was?
I was too small.
That's it?
That was it.
That was it? You were too small?
I was too small.
How were you?
And everyone was like, I can't believe that because I was, then I was the most, skilled. I was, the player back then in Indiana. I got cut.
Wait, so you're the best player in Indiana, the most skillful player. Tactically, you probably had enough at that age where you knew what was going on, and they just said you were too small.
Yeah, I was too small. So, yeah, I was too small. And I was literally, back then, that's why they called me Jitterbug. I was dribbling around. I was dribbling around everybody. I didn't like to pass as much, So, yeah, they cut me. I didn't. My first ever trying to make ODP, I got cut.
Did that stay with you, that saying in your mentality, in your psyche, that you're too small? Did that stay with you growing up?
Oh, yeah. But catch the joke, though. So, so obviously I missed. That was my age group. So that same year, I went up an age group because I was like, no, this is not right. So I was like, I can't just, just stop, this and, I don't believe what they say, blah, blah, blah. So I went up an age group and I made that state team.
Wait,
Herc, so if I'm lying, I'm lying. I'm telling you.
How does this work though? If I'm like a regional director and I see that this kid gets cut from one age group, but another age group takes him, I'm scratching my head and I'm asking questions.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know what happened. How I said I don't know how I got cut. I don't know how it happened, but yeah. So that same year I went up an age group and I made that state team, and I tried to make that regional team, but I got cut then. And at the regional, at that age, I was, obviously they were, too fast and too big and I couldn't really keep up, So I did get cut from, after that state team, I got cut after that. But yeah, I went up an age group and made that state team. I couldn't make my own age group state team, but I made a year up. So that was how I kind of started, and with the ODP and, getting into soccer.
All right. So you did the ODP, different age group. You proved that person wrong. And then in comes the IMG Bradenton Academy. For those of people who don't know, this is pretty much a residency program, the very first generation residency program. So it's you live and you breathe soccer with a bunch of other kids like the rest of the world has.
Right.
What Clásicas academies, whatever you want to call it, that's what it was, correct? Best players in the nation.
Right, that's what it was. We had a group. It was the U15 age, kind of U15, U16 age national team, and obviously U.S. Soccer had this whole, that's the whole with the 2010 World Cup, where there's gonna be like our group that maybe win the World Cup.
That was the project. Right?
That was a project. Project
2010.
So it was our group, winning the World Cup. So we're gonna, try something different. Try to, make basically a living and have us, basically try to be like the European giants, the Brazilians and all that stuff, and live, eat, and breathe soccer every day. Go to school, train every day, not just you train for a couple of weeks and you go back to your club or this and that. So we're trying to do some U.S. Soccer. We're trying to do some outside the box, and obviously they had to get everyone's parents permission to do that. And obviously everyone was like, yeah, we want to do it. We want to live together. We want to play. It sounded like the coolest thing in the whole world, because you get to live and breathe.
Who are some of the players we might know?
you guys know
Generation.
all of them. I mean, Landon was the
Landon.
biggest, obviously the big name. Landon, Gooch, Bobby Convey, Kyle Beckerman, who's still playing. You know,
Still
yeah,
play-
Beckerman,
that's
Bex,
amazing.
yeah, Bex is still there. Jordan Sela, DJ Countess, the goalkeeper. Nelson Aquari, you know, as our captain.
Seth Tremblay there as well. Seth
Yep,
Tremblay.
Seth Tremblay. Yeah, Seth
That's a
Tremblay.
good generation of players. Some of those players
Yeah.
had, long domestic careers.
They did. We had a really good
Walk
group.
me through the day. What was it like? What was your first experience in Bradenton like, the academy?
I mean, for me, I was homesick because I went because I went. We were supposed to start in January, you know, and I went in August because my school was kind of tripping. My high school was kind of tripping at the time, and they was like, oh well, we can't have your transcripts. We can't kind of do them halfway through the season, halfway through the year. You need to if you really want to do this, then you gotta we're gonna have to start new. So you got to go from August until May through the school season. And that's what I did. So I went early. So I kind of got a little taste of what it'd be like before everyone else got there. Everyone's supposed to be there in January. I was homesick. The first, I think 4 or 5 weekends I went home. I went straight home. I went to school Monday through Friday, obviously, and then Friday night my mom got me a flight and I flew back home, and then I flew back on Sunday.
What was it about it that made it you just missed home, or did you?
Yeah, I mean, I was a 15-year-old kid.
Adjusting. What was it?
Yeah, because I was by myself. I was living in the dorms where we were going to be at. Living with people that I didn't know. Alex G was there as well. He came early too. UCLA, it was
right.
What's that?
Did he go to UCLA?
Yeah, UCLA. He went to UCLA. Yeah, and it was difficult. I mean, I basically I was on my own. I had my boy with me, but I was on my own, so it was tough being away from your family at such a young age, and it was difficult.
So no doubt, but that kind of set the groundwork, and then in comes the 1999, U20 World Cup in New Zealand, and one of the best generation of players that we've had at the youth level. You guys actually made a deep run. Not only did you make a deep run, Landon was voted Golden Ball, the best player in the tournament, and you were the Silver Ball, the second best player of the tournament.
Yeah.
Tell me about that experience.
Yeah, man, it was the whole experience was great. We had such a good group. I don't know if you heard stories about that U17 team 99. It was special. And it wasn't just because it was the Project 2010.
Right, I'm sorry, U17 team. You're correct.
Yeah. It wasn't that we're just gonna U.S. Soccer put it on our shoulders to win the World Cup. Like, we actually thought we were. We actually thought we were going to go through the U17s, U20s, Olympics, go to the World Cup 2010 and win it. Because we were beating the teams, the Englands, the Brazil, the Germanys, the Argentina. We were beating those teams at our age.
Do you still remember those players and those teams? Any of them become big players?
That I played against?
Yes, and that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. Probably the biggest one. Well, probably the two biggest ones was from Saviola.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saviola from Argentina. He was in our age group.
He played in Benfica. He played in
Benfica.
Barcelona, River.
When we played Ghana, the guy from Chelsea, he's gonna kill me because we're pretty good acquaintances.
Essien?
Essien. Yeah, Essien. Yeah, Essien.
That's a ridiculous player.
Exactly. So like players like that, that they went through the same ranks, they were that kind of same age group, and we went up and they made the national team as well. So, but no, we thought that we were going to win. We were beating MLS teams at 16 years old. That's who we were playing against. That's who John Mellinger was like. Okay, if y'all really want to scrap and be good and show how good you are, you guys need to step up your game. We could, because we were no disrespect, but when we were playing college teams, it wasn't a contest.
Right.
We were cocky little kids, but we were good. We backed it up with how we played.
You were beating MLS teams. What MLS teams did you guys beat that year?
We beat the Tampa Bay Mutiny. We beat. I think. People are gonna kill me if I say. I think. We might have. I think we tied. I think we drew DC United. That's when they had Echeverries and
Jaime Moreno.
But the thing was, I think they did end up beating us because they played their second string against our starters, and I think we were winning I think we were winning maybe like 1-0 or 2-0. And then that's when they brought Moreno, they brought Tony Sana, and they brought Echeverri in at halftime. And then I think they ended up winning like 4-2 or 4-3 or something like that. But we got respect. I mean,
Right.
they kicked us because obviously, like I said, we were a bit cocky, So, Beckerman was run off at the mouth,
Ooh, Beckerman?
Yeah,
That
Kyle,
doesn't sound like him.
yeah, it doesn't sound right? Kyle, he was talking smack. We all were sometimes a little bit, and when the team really turned it on, obviously they kicked us, and that's what it's supposed to be about.
Right. So you guys are beating grown men at this age. You had a great U17 World Cup. In comes, I guess, I don't know, you weren't part of the draft. You were just signed immediately to Major League Soccer.
Right.
Most people don't know this, but you were signed to the LA Galaxy, right?
Yeah. So I signed actually before that World Cup. I signed before the U17, so I was already signed. And I got allocated to LA.
But you never stepped foot in LA to be part of the Galaxy.
I did. I went because I was still in high school, and my mom and dad wouldn't let me take my GED. So to everyone there's a rumor going around that I never finished high school. I did. I got my diploma. I walked with my class, all that. But anyway,
you made sacrifices. I mean, obviously you walked with your class, but did you go to homecoming or prom or any of that stuff?
I went to prom once. I did, but it's my junior prom. I wasn't able to go to my senior prom. So I went to the junior prom. But yeah, that's something that I signed in '99. That summer, LA had me out. And that's when they had like the Cienfuegos, Carlos Hermosillo, Kobe, Robert Frazier, Easy,
Ezra.
Ezra. They had, all these, all the big names. Greg Vanny, that's when back then. When
Danny Pena, right?
Yeah, all those guys. So obviously, I just had turned 17 then when I went. And it was a great experience. I remember, and I don't think I've ever told Kobe this, but I remember walking into the locker room because they let me train. I went to LA. They picked me up, and they let me go there for 2 weeks, meet the players, meet the Ziggy.
Where they used to train?
So what's that?
Where they train?
Where?
Yeah.
It was right outside the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, it was a baseball field, right?
It was a baseball field. Yeah, there you go. Yep, that was it. Right across. Yeah, we walked over. Yeah, I remember. And so I remember the first day I walked in. I remember Kobe Jones. Obviously, he's big. He was a man.
Dreadlocks.
He was a man back then. Dreadlocks, everything. And I remember walking in, and he was reading a newspaper. And I walked in, and then obviously I can't remember the lady's name or the guy's name that introduced me to the whole team. And he literally just wrote down his paper and said, "Hey," and put back his paper up. And then I was like, "Oh, well, all right, thanks, Kobe, appreciate it." And that was the first time I ever meeting Kobe. I'll never forget that. But at the end, obviously, they're good teammates for those 2 weeks that I was there. Very they made me feel welcome, and I got to train, and I got to be a part of one game. I was on the bench warming up for one game. Yeah, so I had my jersey because they actually had to ask MLS, am I eligible to play? And they're like, well, yeah, he signed, And so Ziggy, he put me on the bench. I didn't play, but there was one. Don't ask me who we played. I have no idea. I can't remember. But I remember warming up on the sideline, and then right after that, my 2 week stint, was over, and then the next thing you know, I was getting traded.
All right, let's fast forward to Chicago. You're in Chicago, and Chicago in its first year wasn't its regular expansion team. I mean, you guys were pretty competitive.
Yeah.
You guys won everything.
Yeah.
Bob Bradley, you had some ridiculous players on that team. What was it? Peter Novak,
Lubos Kubik, Stoichkov, but then we had the whole U.S. national team.
Just Marsh.
Seriously, we had Wolfie, we had Zach Thornton, we had Ante, we had Chris Armas, we had Diego Gutierrez, we had Dima Kovalenko.
Watch your ankles, eh?
Yeah, we had Dima. We basically like when I started kind of getting to the national team after my first year, it would be literally about 8 of us flying because we were all on the national team. You know what I'm saying? That was great. That's how good our team was.
Right. You guys won everything. You won the league. You won the Open Cup. Bob Bradley was the head coach back then. What was Bob Bradley like back then?
I mean, I think he was, he's a straightforward guy.
Yeah.
He's very organized. Knows exactly, how he wants to coach, how he wants each player to play. Everyone would know the roles in the team. He was hard. He had a certain standard that we had to that he put from training to games to the way you live your life. It wasn't just about football. Everything had to be at a professional level. I mean, the way you eat, the way you take care of yourself, the way we train. If it wasn't good enough, oh, you know it. You definitely know it. So he held us to a standard that we needed to be at every day, but not just football, off the field as well.
What does that do for you if you're a young kid, if you're 17 years old and you come into an environment where it's so structured on and off the field? What did that instill in you?
Yeah, it does wonders, man. I'm telling you. I was so lucky to be in that group, to be around those players. Because basically, all the players that we had were internationals. And all the players wanted to win. And to have that mentality at a young age, to see what these guys go through every day, day in and out, how they train, how they play games, what they're doing to take care of themselves. It it's it all. I think for me, it definitely depends on the situation that you're in at a young age. If you're in that early and you see what it takes to win, what these guys do to win every day, what it takes, in training, train at your best every single day. Having a coach like Bob that doesn't take any days off. I mean, literally, we'll walk in for training and he'd already be there watching Barcelona against Real Madrid in '87.
Something like that today.
Like it didn't stop. It didn't stop. He always wanted to reach another level. He got that one, then reach another level, then reach another level. So it was football all day, and have those players that I had with me on that team, being internationals, already having won in the championship, and it can be easy, when you have players at that high quality and they won a championship. They won in '98, and they still somewhat had the same team. They could just be like, okay, yeah, we won it. We're good. We're done. No, they wanted more. They wanted more. They wanted to win again and win again every day in training. Like, I would get kicked like you would not believe. C.J. Brown, Frankie Klopas, and these are my boys. These are my guys. But Tommy Sohn, oh my god, they would kick the living every day. Every day. But it made me tough.
After they do that?
They wouldn't say nothing. They look at me on the ground and just keep playing. Just keep playing. That's and I already had that toughness, because I went up at a young age. So I already had that. Like, I could take a tackle, I could take, a hit, a beating. But I think I got respect because I didn't talk. I shut my mouth and I just played. I think I gained respect, throughout that year of, okay, yeah, I'm not just a scrawny kid that they signed, to make headlines. Like, this guy's a real deal. Obviously I wasn't, like the best player by far on that team, but they knew that, this kid could be something special if he keeps his head down. That's what I did. I didn't talk back. I just played. I got up, and I tried to do my part, and they knew that I was there to help the team.
It's funny you say that about keeping your head down, working and doing your part, because I remember in the latter stages of my career, and it's a good thing that the players nowadays have so much confidence, and they're honestly, they're a lot better than maybe our age group was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
More advanced technically.
Skillful, yeah.
They're exposed to different things on YouTube where they can mimic players. They're just tons of resources.
Right.
But maybe that gritty attitude, that gritty put your head down and work kind of personality is missing today.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. 100%. I've spoken about it before. Like you said, whatever it is, that mentality part of it is different. You got especially when I first came to Houston. There was some young kids that were obviously training with the first team at sometimes, and obviously they get a tackle. Some of the older guys will get a tackle, and but they get up and like, oh, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, man, you are 17 years old. Just take it and keep playing.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they would feel like they were better than the older guys just
entitled.
Because they were young. Yeah, because they were young and they were talented, and this is a whole new world. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like back in the old days. And I get that. That's fine. Times change. I understand that. But the mentality part of it shouldn't change. You should for one, respect obviously the players that have been there before you and paved the way. But at the same time, just it should be about football. That's it. Get up, play. You're gonna get kicked because you're young, and that's what it is. That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? But don't sit there and talk back and think that you're better than everybody just because you're young and talented.
Yeah, and I agree with what you're saying, and I hope players or people who are listening to this take that into account. The young kids. Let's go back to a young and talented kid. I mean, the 2002 World Cup is right around the corner. You and Landon kind of came out of nowhere to make that national team.
Yeah.
Walk me through the process of the qualification process that is.
Yeah.
Were you part of that? How many games were you part of that? Did you see yourself even being in that radar?
I didn't, I was on the edge. I was on the edge looking in, for me. Landon was there. Landon was he had already been in camps. He was playing. Yes, he scored a couple goals for the national team before he got, before he made the World Cup team.
He scored against Mexico in the debut.
Yeah, he scored against Mexico his first game, and actually our U17 team was in the stands that game. So that was pretty cool, to see our boys score. I mean, we went crazy. We went nuts, to see him score his first goal. What's up?
What were you doing there?
We were training, and we were training at the same time in the national team. The full team was training, and obviously we're going to go to the game because we were in LA as well. And but yeah, to see him score, we went absolutely nuts. It was cool to see our boy score at such a young age. But so yeah, Landon was there, and so for me, I was part of that group that I was getting called in, but I wasn't making the final roster. So I was training with with the all the with the Kobe's and Ernie's and all those guys, but I wasn't making the final roster. I remember Bob was talking to Bruce, and Bob was talking to me, and he said, Bruce, I got a kid you need to look at. And Bruce was like, no, not yet. He's okay, but I don't think he's at this level yet. And Bob, he kept pushing Bruce to bring me in, to call me in. He's like, Bruce, So Bob was a big part of, getting me to the national team as well. He definitely was in Bruce's ear to take a look at me, So
did he ever tell you what he saw in you that made him push Bruce so much?
Not really. I mean, obviously we had our talks of what he thought about me as a player then, but I know that I needed to, for me to be on that team and to play with that team, I needed to be a two-way player. And I said this in an interview before. I remember Bob telling me, because if people ever saw me at 16 years old, I never passed the ball. I never liked to pass. All I did was dribble. That's why they called me Jitterbug. I dribble. I love to dribble, And obviously I used my speed to get past people. My skill wasn't as good as other players, but my speed made up for it, And Bob, came up to me and told me, he's like, DaMarcus, you can't dribble yourself out of everything. You cannot dribble yourself out of every situation. Get your head up, play the ball. We're a team that likes the ball on the ground. So get your head up and play the ball. And that stuck to me, just those little comments that he made. And obviously playing with the players that I did, it got me to actually understand the game. Not just, you want to dribble and do this and that, but actually got me to understand the game and actually look at it from a whole different perspective. And I was 17, 18 years old, so just think that kind of knowledge you have from a coach, from the players that an 18-year-old kid got. I got that from Bob, and that was pretty cool. So yeah, I didn't those couple of camps I didn't make the final roster. I felt that I should have, but I didn't. So it just kept making me. I got a little taste of it, but I didn't get the the final reward, and so I wasn't really a part of the qualifying process. They had already qualified, and I went to the one game in Trinidad. That there was the last game of the qualifying, the game 10, and I ended up starting, but I ended up getting a concussion, knocked out.
Oh,
yeah, right before halftime. Yeah, and don't remember much of that game. In my first start, in the qualifying match, I get taken off at halftime because I got knocked unconscious.
So what? How did you end up making the team?
Gold Cup. That's back then when Gold Cup was in the winter, and it was in California. So the Gold Cup was in January, and that Gold Cup, put myself in the driver's seat, or in the talks of maybe making the World Cup team. I had literally, I'm not even lying. I I didn't think I had no way in hell making the World Cup team in 2002. I knew I was there, but I really wasn't making camp. I wasn't, getting to play. And obviously I made my debut against China. But still, I would come in. I was still coming to camps, but I really wasn't making a roster. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But the Gold Cup was really where I made a name for myself.
All right, so you make the World Cup team. You get the news. What's going through your mind? Do you get the gravity of the situation that it's a World Cup? When do you really realize where you're at? Walk me through this.
Oh, I did. I mean, I still remember in Chicago when Dave called me and said, "Hey, Beas, we're taking you to the World Cup." I was like, "Huh?" I was kind of half asleep. Yeah, I was kind of half asleep, and I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, we're taking you." I was like, "Oh no," I couldn't believe it. I just kept saying, "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." I couldn't believe it. Little kid from Fort Wayne, Indiana, that I didn't think he had a chance of making a World Cup team, and he did. And I did have a good tournament. Playing against those teams, against Jamaica and Holland, those teams are really, I really, put myself, in the talks of, maybe we want to take this kid, So, but yeah, making a World Cup team, especially at the youngest player doing it, was amazing. It didn't hit me probably until we started those 3 games before we left to go to the World Cup that I was actually on the team.
So first game versus Portugal. I mean, you're in the lineup. You're looking across from you. You see Figo. You see Rui Costa. You see guys like this. What are you thinking?
Let's go.
Just like that. Let's go.
Just like I was nervous. But I was like, let's go. I remember Ernie talking to me in the hotel before we got in. It was the day of the game, but he's like, "Beas, just play your game." He's like, "Just play your game. Try not to think about the situation. Just play the game. Do what you got. Do what you did to get here. Do the same things you've been doing the last 2 months that you made this team. Keep doing the same things. Just do you." And that talk from Ernie helped.
Ernie Stewart gave you this talk.
Yeah.
Do you talk, and you guys are playing against Portugal, and you guys kind of took an early lead. What are you thinking at this moment?
It was surreal. You couldn't believe that goal went in, because Portugal, they were the one of the favorites to win the World Cup.
That was their goal generation. So
exactly. So obviously no one gave us a chance in hell to win this game. And especially obviously us Americans. Obviously what happened in '98, no one's looking for us to do anything. So for us to score 1, 2, 3 in the first half, man, it was crazy. So obviously at halftime, you feel like, oh man, game done. You feel good. All we gotta do is hold out for 45 minutes. But man, that was the longest 45 minutes of my whole career. We had, I think, maybe one shot. I think after that first 45 minutes, and after that, we were hanging on for dear life, man. I'm telling you.
So people remember that World Cup as a great World Cup run, but in group play, I mean, you guys almost didn't make it to the next round.
Yeah, we needed help. We definitely needed help because it was our group was Portugal, South Korea, and Poland. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so yeah, we drew. We beat Portugal. Drew against South Korea, but I can't remember all the different variables that happened. I'm sure you probably know. But yeah, when we were playing against,
I believe South
Poland,
Korea beat Poland.
Yeah, they had to beat Portugal for us to go through.
Oh, Portugal,
to go
right.
through. Yeah, because we were playing Poland. Yeah,
that's right.
And I think did we drew against Poland? No, we lost.
You lost.
Yeah, we lost against Poland. Yeah. So we thought, obviously we thought, oh man, that was it. Because all we needed to do was draw or win, and we'll go through, regardless of what South Korea did. And we heard the news like literally right when the whistle blew, our 90 minutes that South Korea beat Portugal, and that we were still going through. So yeah, we gotta say we almost didn't make it. So the whole 2002, the great World Cup that we did have, it almost didn't happen.
It almost didn't happen. You guys go to the next round. You play your hated rivals in Mexico. I know this is a game that you didn't get to play, but walk me through what you're seeing, what's going on, what the emotions.
I'm telling you, man. We had so much confidence. We did because because it was a team we knew. It wasn't a team. They had great players and they had a great team, but it was a team we knew. It was a team that we were very familiar with. A team that we knew we could beat. We had a lot of confidence, going into that game. I'm not even bullshit. We really did, and there was no way we were going to lose that game. With everything going on, with them being obviously our biggest rival, and knowing that we can beat Mexico, our biggest rival, to go to the quarterfinals. It couldn't get any bigger than that, So
that's pre-Mexico dominance for the U.S. men's
national. That's when it started. Then after that, that's when it started.
Yeah. Right. How did you have so much confidence versus that team?
Because we were so familiar with them. It wasn't a team like a Brazil or a Russia or a team that we had we knew their players. We knew how they played. We knew how the USA-Mexico games went, Obviously, it's a bigger stage because it's the World Cup. But we knew we knew each player, Bruce and the coaching staff, the players. Obviously, even though, obviously the older guys, they knew more than I did because I was just kind of getting into the rivalry with Mexico and USA. But, with Ernie, Kobe, McBride, all those guys, all the older guys, obviously Claudio, they knew who we were playing against. They were so familiar with them, and there was no way we're losing that game. Obviously Mexico had a lot of the ball, and they had a lot of attacking threats up top. But we had a lot of confidence that game. I that was probably the least worried I was during that World Cup was that game. Seriously.
Wow.
Before Portugal, before all those South Korea playing, the whole nation, in front of all you see is a sea of red, and they're singing their chants and their songs. Obviously, you think like, okay, it's a little nerve wracking, but let's go out here and play. But Mexico is like, okay, we got this, man. We can do this. We know them, they know us, but it's gonna be a battle. But hey, we can do this, and that's what it was.
And that's exactly what it was. And you move forward to what is Germany, and I don't want to get too much into Germany, but Torsten Frings handball on the line. It should have been a penalty today.
Yeah, they cheated.
That would have been a penalty. That team had the potential to go to a semifinal.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. One play away. One play away. And the thing was, that was the best game we played all tournament. Yeah. We took it to Germany. I don't think they were ready for. I don't think they were ready for us to play that well. Against them. I think they took us. Took us lightly, and it showed all game. Landon had 2, 3 good solid chances, but solid chance, but kind of made some really good saves.
And he scored those as well.
Yeah, we anyone that'll say that Germany outplayed us is wrong.
No,
they just got to watch the game. But at the same time, we all know results matter.
Yeah,
they went on, we didn't. We can say to you blue in the face, we had a better game than Germany, but the fact of the matter is they got through, they won 1-0, and that's it. That's football. That's the game.
That is football. So what's the reception like when you come back home?
Man, it was great. It wasn't even for Herc. Wasn't even before. It was during the World Cup. Man, after that first game, we had so much love from everybody, and we heard, everyone's, cheers and messages from the States, people, saying that they're getting up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning to watch games, and, they couldn't believe that, the USA was playing like this, they had never seen that, just things like that. So we definitely felt the love back home during the World Cup, and obviously when we got home, we're almost kind of like heroes, guys were on, Letterman's and all those different talk shows, and it was like we won the World Cup, but we didn't. But it was just the fact that we did so well, furthest we've ever gotten, from a USA team, and I think it just showed that we had a very good group.
So the 2002 World Cup, 2006 World Cup, 2010 World Cup, 2014 World Cup, was that the biggest reception you remember?
Coming back, I would probably say so. I think more people started watching 06, 10, and 14. But I just think from just us because they were so shocked and surprised that, and then everyone jumped on the bandwagon, I think that was probably our biggest welcoming back, from that World Cup than any other one, I think.
So you're coming back from the World Cup. You go back to Major League Soccer. You end up doing so well. You start getting a few bids into the Fire. I believe Southampton was one of the bids.
Yeah, Southampton. Yeah.
That fell through. I'm sure you must have been disappointed with that.
Yeah, I was. but at the same time, I wasn't too upset about it because I didn't think I'm not saying I don't think I was ready for England, but England wasn't one of like my first choice to go to.
Right.
You know, obviously, you know, I felt.
What was your first choice?
When I heard about Holland, because I mean, Ajax had you know, spoke to me back before you know, with before the fire, and so going to Holland, and I felt that was a better kind of, you know, jump for me. Spain, there's a couple teams in Spain as well that offered something, but you know, obviously that didn't work out. MLS, you know, said that, you know, the price was too low that they were bidding for. So I thought PSV was a great move for me, you know, and I think it was at the right time. I think if I don't know what would happen if I would have went to England or to Southampton, you know, because they were, you know, obviously they were a, you know, mid-table team, good team, a lot of money, but for me to go to PSV, you know, a winning side, a team that, you know, won so many championships and had that mentality, I think that was the best situation for me. So I wasn't too disappointed that Southampton didn't go through. Sorry.
Right, and you go to PSV and you're under Guus Hiddink, and it's a team, a storied team in Holland, and you're in a place where you can learn as you go type. What was that environment like for you?
Oh man, it was great. You know, Holland was, you know, to be able to play with those players that I played with, it was just like Chicago, you know, because everyone were internationals. You know, obviously the level went up, you know, from every player a little bit from the Fire to PSV, but the mentality was the same, and I think that part helped a lot, you know, because everything they had to win every game, every single game. I remember talks, you know, with Hiddink, and we would be winning 1-0 and dominating the game, you know, and he would come in at halftime and say, "This is not good enough." And my PSV days, we usually win this game 3-4, 3-4-0, 3-4, 5-0, and then we go home and you guys are winning 1-0, you guys down, but it's not good enough. Like you had to win but put on the show, you know, and that's what it was about. So that mentality going over from Chicago, having that mentality, the players that I played with, and having the same mentality from the coach, from the players, you know, it all just went together. So I think for me, that was the perfect move to make.
And you do well, and you're in the Champions League, and I believe you guys got to the semifinals and lost Milan on away goals, and you were a big part of that. You had a great tournament.
I was the lead scorer that year.
Today, right?
League. What's that?
Does your record still stand to today of the American player that's gotten the furthest in Champions League? Oh no, Jovan.
Jovan. Yeah.
But Jovan didn't play. You played.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's cool. You know, that experience, you know, obviously I'll never forget it. I remember I was playing against, you know, when Milan was Milan.
Right.
You know, they had, you know, Kaká and they had Shevchenko and Vieira and
Crespo. Was it Crespo?
Maldini. Yeah, no, Crespo. Maldini was still there.
Yeah.
You know, Casacorta, Cafu, Dida. I mean, I can go on. Say it on. I can, you know, go on with that team. Pirlo. I mean, they had and Gattuso. Pirlo, my goodness gracious. Yeah, Gattuso as well. So I mean, you know, that was a team that we're facing, you know, in Champions League semifinal. But yeah, man, it was great. You know, that year, you know, I led the team in Champions League. I led our team in Champions League goals that year, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I was a big part of that European year for sure.
Beas, just for a second, put yourself, that team, you and PSV, with social media today, you doing what you did back then today, like, you know how blown up you would have been, like how crazy it would have been. DaMarcus Beasley would have been a household name.
Yeah, but I'm kind of glad that I grew up in the 70s, so well, we didn't have all that social media. But yeah, I mean, I know times change. I know the different, but you know, like I said, for me, that doesn't bother me. I'm cool with the people that, you know, respect my game and respect, you know, what I did in Europe and with the national team and everything. So it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. Well, if anybody knows football, they know how important you are to the U.S. men's national team and the American, you know, landscape of it. So let's go. You're now you get loaned out to City, and then from City, it's a brief spell. You go to Rangers, and now Rangers are still a big club.
Yeah.
And it has a few American ties. Claudio Reyna played there, and Claudio Reyna was a big player, not only there, but the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, he was with me at City as well. Claudio.
Oh, he was with you at City as well. So what was that like? I mean, for a lot of people, I guess, fans don't know how good Claudio Reyna was.
Oh, man. he was the best player on that City team by far. The way he played, but he was injured. He was getting older, so he was injured. A lot of the time. But when he was fit and ready, he played, and he just brought a calmness to the game. He was so skilled with both feet. He never lost the ball. He was a guy that can dictate the tempo of games. And he never got rushed. He's one of those players that he never seems rushed. It's just like he does everything at his pace, his time. When he wants to play the ball long, he'll play. If he wants to play it short, he'll play. If he wants to dribble out somewhere with his skill, he'll do it. But he's never rushed. He's never panicking. He's got the ball. Like, oh, what do I do? Nah, that was never Claudio. Claudio is hands down one of the best players that ever played for the U.S.
Easily one of the best players I've seen. Many don't have that or haven't had of watching him. I have this debate all the time where they talk about the all-time greats, and I think somebody, when Christian Pulisic was barely coming up through the ranks, had said he was already the best player, and I remember saying he's not better than Claudio. So I don't want to put him in the conversation with Landon if he's not better than Claudio. And people look at me like, you're dumb. Claudio who?
That's what I'm saying.
And UVA was the same age as Dortmund. I'm like, you don't understand. You don't understand.
Yeah, how good this guy was. Yeah, Claudio. Yeah, he was a player, man. But yeah, I was with him at City, and then after that, my City stint was good. I was injured when I first got there, and they still signed me because I was injured. So the first, I think 6 games or 7 games I didn't play, obviously, because I was coming back from an injury that I had at PSV. And but yeah, when I was fit, I played. And obviously getting into those teams was difficult, So I had to wait my time. When I played for City. And then when I played, I scored that first goal, and I think it was in January or something like that against West Ham. Now after that, I played basically every game that I was fit, so it was good.
So good experience at City. You go to Rangers, you're having a good time. You're an important player, and then there's a Champions League game, and you start getting some racist taunts going on. Do you remember that game?
Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, man, it was, to actually experience it, everyone can talk about it and say, oh man, that's bad. But to actually experience it, it's a different feeling. You have so many emotions going through you because obviously you're trying to play, you're trying to win, and you're trying to just focus on the game, because that's what you're supposed to do because you're a player. But to hear that, the monkey chants while you're playing every time you get the ball, and it's a feeling that's you feel rage, you feel that you want to do something more than just play the game, and it's disheartening to know it's still happening in the game, but to feel it firsthand, it was difficult. And obviously after the game, I spoke about it. I got racist chants, and and everyone can hear it, but back then, like they're doing now, it just kind of brushed under the table. It's like, okay, yeah, he said it. We'll make a complaint for the team against the team, and then that was it. So there wasn't really that much done to for me speaking out, and the coach as well. Walter Smith spoke out as well, saying this is not right. This shouldn't be happening in football. But I would say we'll look into it, but then it just gets swept under the table, and then that's it.
It's 13 years later, and we're seeing the same type of things still going on.
Yeah, and it's for me, I feel for players that are still getting that kind of treatment, and like I said, it's going to take, and I hate to say this, but it's going to take someone going to the stands and knocking somebody out, and for a player to do that to to fans if they see it face to face,
right? For people to really
to take action, because nothing's being done. FIFA's not doing anything. They're just kind of backing whatever backing their name, their brand of the game, and it's disgusting, to be honest. So, but yeah, I think that's what it's gonna take. Well, one guy, because everyone's different. Everyone, is different. So you might have, African American take it one way and say, okay, hey, like David out from Brazil, he took the banana and he ate it. You got that, but then you might have someone that Danny Alves. You might have somebody else that is going to literally jump in the stands and try to knock somebody out.
The Tottenham's player going to the stands and confront a fan.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's crazy that it's came to that. That it's getting away from football.
So your time in Scotland was obviously noteworthy. At one time, you had an issue where somebody came to your house and set your car on fire. What's going on here? Explain this to me.
Yeah, man, it was some.
You're laughing.
Times. Yeah, I know, but it's only because I thought that it was gonna go in another way. I thought it was soccer and this and that, but then you got the car thing. That's why I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, man. Outside my crib, outside my house. Somebody blew up my car. It's funny that it's not funny that I'm saying it, but it's crazy to think that I'm actually saying this out loud.
Car, Beas. What was the reasoning behind this?
I can't talk about that.
Okay.
It's something I can't talk about. But yeah, they blew up my car. Someone took and it was on camera.
Fan, right?
Yo, it was on camera.
Wow.
But obviously they couldn't see it, because they had CCTV, on the streets, whatever. And my car was parked outside, outside of my house, outside of my apartment building. And they took a bottle of kerosene thing. Couldn't see what it was on the video, and they broke my window, threw it in the car, and then there it is.
Yeah. Well, for brevity's sake, I want to fast forward a few things. I don't want to keep you too long, but you also started in Scotland your own jewelry line.
Yeah.
Black diamonds. How did you get into this? Most people don't know about this.
Yeah. Every year, Rangers they have their gala, for sponsors, for season ticket holders, for the team players, excuse me. And one of the sponsors was this lady. She had her own store, for diamonds, this and that. And she was sitting at my table, at our table. A couple of guys at our table. She was sitting at our table, and I already had jewelry of my own, that I bought. I just bought. I think I had maybe a ring, maybe a bracelet or something like that. I can't remember what I was wearing that actual day. And she came up to me. She's like, "Oh, I love your diamonds." And then she gave me her card. And she's like, "Yeah, I have a store. You should come check it out." And I was like, "Yeah, for sure. I love the bling. Back then, bling bling.
Right.
The word. So I was all part of that. I had the watches, the rings, and all that stuff, diamonds. And she was like, "Oh, so who designed this for you?" I was like, "Me." Like I went to I go to the jewelry and I say, "Okay, this is what I want. I want it like this, like that, like that."
Wow.
So I kind of did my own thing, and then people made it for me. And she's like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "Okay." And then literally, like maybe I went to her store. Checked it out, and then literally about maybe a month after that, she called me and said, "Hey, what do you think about having your own jewelry line? Your jewelry, you designing your own stuff?" And I was like, "Nah, not really. I'm not trying to do that." She's like, "No, really. Like, I have some ideas that I think you would really like." She's like, "Yo, just come to the store again, and just let me run this by you." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "All right, cool." So I went to the store, and like she was designing, and I was saying, "Okay, well, I like this one, but I think if you do this a little bit better, then maybe this will, because I wanted to be, somewhat my style, but her style as well, because we designed them together,
right?
And then after that, she's like, "Okay, I really want to do this. Like, let's really make this a business." And I was like, "Are you serious?" And she was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I really want to, do this for you."
What's it called?
What's that?
What's it called?
The DaMarcus collection.
The DaMarcus collection.
Yeah. The DaMarcus collection. It's still being sold in Scotland. The store is still. I talked to Summer the other day. Yeah. So you can. We specialize in black diamonds, black onyx. The stone. I like the black because it has a it's fierce, it's bold,
Right.
it's
Very
it's
clean.
very clean cut, sleek. That's what I liked about the black.
Where's your bling right now, DaMarcus? I don't see any
And
bling.
I don't, my bling goes into all my daughter's things. I don't have any more
Exactly.
bling. I don't have no more bling. I mean, I wear an earring and a watch. That's about it.
Because I remember going to national team camps and then Josie or Mo, and they're blinged out.
Oh yeah, that was back. That was how it was back in the
Oh,
day.
I'm sorry, not Josie, Eddie Johnson.
Eddie Johnson, yeah, that's how it was back in the day. We were, we were not competing, but we were at the, silently we were competing back then. Who had the best jewelry and this
Who's
and
the
that.
most
But that's
flossed out?
most flossed out watch, ring,
Is
whatever
it
you want to call
you?
it.
Is it Mo? Is it
Yeah,
Eddie? You
that's when I had the do rag back in the day, and I had hair. Man, those were some times, man. Those are some times.
Yeah, it's good stuff. All right, so I want to go fast forward. You spent a little time in Germany, at Hanover, but you made your way to Mexico, man.
Yeah.
DaMarcus Beasley, U.S. men's national team legend at that point already, make his way to Puebla, Mexico with Puebla.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just before you talk about Mexico, I just want to say with Germany, like I had to. I think if I didn't have that experience in Germany, I don't think I would have done as well as I did in Puebla.
Why?
Because when I went, I mean, I didn't play. I didn't play. I played 4 games. I didn't start. I only made 4 appearances. And I made every excuse that you could make that's why I didn't play. And it was. I mean, I always had confidence that I could do it, but it was obviously players go through ups and downs throughout their career, and for me, that was a turning point.
You
That
said
was a
you
turning
made
point for
every
me.
excuse. How did you realize you were making excuses?
After talking to Jurgen,
Jurgen
Klinsmann. He asked me. I know I'm going kind of a little bit out of the question,
please.
but when I got called back into the national team, he sat me down and he said, "Beas, why didn't you play in Germany?" And I was like, "I don't know why." He's like, "No, really." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Why do you think you didn't play?" And I said, "I mean, I thought I was training well. The coach didn't like me, or I didn't. Everything was pointing the finger at somebody else. It wasn't just me saying, I didn't do enough to warrant a place in that team. It was everything was, oh well, I didn't like the city. I was by myself. Every excuse I could use, I said. I was like, yeah, I didn't. The city wasn't. It was small. I didn't like it. It was very. It was different from the other countries that I was at. The coach. He taught to me, but he didn't really talk to me. He never spoke to me in English. So I was making every single excuse I could make. And Jurgen finally said, he's like, "Beas, for one," he said, I don't believe that. And I said, okay. And he's like, every coach, any coach you have, professional, if he's a national team coach, he is going to play the team, regardless of how he feels with you personally. He is going basically 9.9 out of 10 times, he is going to play the team that's going to win the game that day. If you're one of those players, he's going to play you. If you're, maybe you haven't, trained well or whatever, but if he trusts you, if he thinks that on this day, I can trust this player to win us a game, he's going to play you. So there was something that you weren't doing with training, with whatever, that did not catch his eye to say, okay, you know what, this guy I can count on, this guy I can play, this guy, I'm going with him today because, he can play, or we can win this game with him. If the coach doesn't say that, then it's you. It's not the coach. It's not your environment. It's you. Obviously, there's different circumstances where,
right.
There's good players that didn't play is because, it just didn't happen. This didn't work. But in my case, it wasn't like that. I was making excuses for myself and blaming everybody else and saying, because and then when he told me that, he said, when he told me about the, every coach is going to play his best 11 to win him that day, that game. I look back and I was like, actually, I literally thought about it. I'm like, did I really train as much hard as I could have? Did I really, take the time and really try to learn the German, style and, how they want to play this, that? Yeah, the culture. I mean, the culture, yes. But as far as like playing, and I was like, no, I didn't. You know, because like I knew I had that kind of that chip on my shoulder. Was like I knew that I could give more, but I knew I wasn't going to play. So I was like, you know what? Forget it. I'm not really going to trade as hard as I could. Am I going to really go for that ball?
Do you regret that?
I don't say I regret it, because that was. I mean, I wish things would have gone differently, you know.
Right.
But I wouldn't say I regret it, because that made me the player what we're about to talk about in Puebla, you know. And I think for me, I always had confidence in myself and my ability and what I could do. And I knew I needed that German experience to not play, to really just, you know, be like, okay, Beas, like, what's going on? Do you really want to do this, or you don't? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you're not with the national team. You're not playing in Germany. You know, I had a couple teams in like Scandinavia that wanted me to play. I'm not going to Scandinavia. You know, no disrespect to Scandinavian, but
Right.
I'm not going there to play. And that was it. You know, I was an unwanted player at the time. You know, so it was like, you know, all right, let's go. You need to, you know, get your contract. You need to get your career, you know, back on track. You know, I know I can do it. I'm talking to myself. I know I can do it. So I just need a good situation. Make sure I sit down and pick the right one, and then I'm gonna show that I can, you know, be back to my best.
So you go to Puebla. This is, I believe, 2011 now.
Yeah, 2011.
You must be 30 years old now, because we're the same age. So I think you're 29, 30.
Yeah, you're older than me. Stop saying we're the same
5
age.
months. I'm older than you by a month, bro. We're the same age group.
Stop saying we're the same age, man. Stop saying that. You are older than me. There you go.
All right. I'm older than you by a month. So you must be 29, maybe 30 years old at this point. Yeah. Obviously, it's a turning point, not only in your career, but in your life. You're finding yourself in a different country, a different culture, a different brand of football.
Yeah.
And maybe the first time in your career, you've got doubts, so to speak, about where this is going.
Yeah.
How do you get to Puebla? What's the first moments like in Puebla?
Yeah, man. I actually went to Pachuca. That's when Gringo, he was there. Jose, Orozco, Orozco, Mikey was there as well.
Orozco,
and so I actually, so the first contact that I had was from Pachuca, and obviously I didn't play in Germany, and they were like, "Oh, we want you to come on trial," and I'm like, "I'm not coming on trial, you know." I'm not doing that. I knew I didn't play in the Bundesliga, but I'm not gonna go on trial. I wasn't at that level to do. You know, I wasn't gonna do that. And they were like, okay, well, not trial, but just come for, you know, a week, see how you like it.
Can you really quickly explain to people, when a player agrees to go on trial, you almost are giving that team the benefit of the doubt that they can kind of treat you how they want and give you whatever they want, correct?
Yeah, they did. But the thing, the funny thing was that we already had a pre-contract kind of already arranged in place. So if I did well in the first, you know, whatever, how long I was going to be there, you know, I would get that, you know, I would have that contract. And I was okay with that. You know, the money, whatever, I was fine, you know, new situation, whatever. And I went there. I trained the first 2 days. I was like, okay, yeah, we're good. we want to sign you. And I was like, okay, cool. So you send me the, you know, whatever. I stayed, I think, 2 or 3 more days after that. But then after that, I got the contract, and it was like 100-something short. Oh. And it's like, oh, well, yeah. And then they're like, oh, well, you have to. We don't have space. We don't have space for you as well. And I'm like, wait. So you don't have the money that you agree, and then you don't have space for me to. They don't have. You know, back then there was only 5 foreigners. Yeah, back then there was only 5, and they already had their 5. And so this is what they said. They said, okay, we're gonna put you on the second team. You're gonna train. Are you gonna? Yeah. Exactly. That's why I said, wait, what? My eyebrows are up. Yeah. So, because I mean, the owner didn't want, you know, he didn't want me to, you know, he wanted to sign me, but he couldn't. So he's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna, you know, you're gonna sign, and then, but you're gonna play for the second team. But then next, you know, after those, you know, 2 seasons, the first season, you know, we're gonna let go of somebody, and then, you know, we're gonna. So basically, 6 months you're gonna be with the second team. I said, what? I was like, there's not. It's not. I was like, there wasn't even a negotiation after that. Right. Wasn't even a negotiation. So then, you know, fast forward, like literally a day. I was still in Mexico. A day, Puebla they heard that I was in Mexico, and they said, hey, would you want to play with us? And I was like, yeah. But with them it was different because they told me the whole project. That's when they got Luis Garcia.
Yeah.
They're telling me they got the team that they're trying to build, and the owners putting in money, and we want to go for the championship, and we want to put the team back on the map, all this stuff. So he was telling me
he's got to see a Liverpool, he's got to see a national team.
Exactly. Yeah, right. And they were telling me what they were trying to do, and who they're trying to bring in, and all this stuff. So I got somewhat the project of what they wanted to do, and I felt really wanted. Real talk, I felt really wanted. So literally, I drove from Pachuca, went to Puebla, and I met the coach, I met the the sporting director and all that. And after that, the next day, I trained for a day or two, and then we had a tournament in Tijuana.
So obviously, I know you will agree with me. The city-wise, a huge upgrade, Pachuca to what is now Puebla.
Oh yeah, not even a question.
So now you feel more comfortable. They already have a track record of kind of going outside the box. They've had already a few Americans play for them, a few players who were in Major League Soccer. Ramon Nunez, I don't know if you remember that kid. He played for FC Dallas. He was there. Your boy that you're talking to right now went there. There was obviously
goal scoring champ. I know. I already know.
So this is why I kept tabs on you. So I still had friends there, and I would ask because I was playing at that moment. I think now in Tecos or Santos.
And, I think you're at Tecos then.
In 2011 it was Tecos then, and I would talk to my friends in that team. Hey, how's Beas doing? And like, yo, this guy is killing it.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if he's playing left back or he's playing left wing. He's playing like a 10, and he's like been the MVP of our team. So you go from a process of being doubted to you even doubting yourself to all of a sudden being the most important player in your rival's country on that team.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, I had my reservations going to Mexico because I didn't know how I was going to get treated. Obviously, and back then it wasn't because of not because I was black. I said because I'm American.
Right.
And back then, that's when the USA was above Mexico. We were beating them literally every single time that we played.
This dominance was well over a decade.
Yeah, exactly. So the dominance, I lived through that dominance. That was USA against Mexico, and USA was was killing back then. So I didn't know how I would get received when I first went to play. But man, it was total opposite of what I thought. I'm serious. From the first minute, I got so much love from the fans, from the city. When I would go to to restaurants, I'll eat free. It was great, man. I mean, I got so much love in Mexico, and I didn't expect it. I really did not. Even from the opposing fans, it's like chingas, all that stuff. It's like, man, I love how you play. I love how you play. You didn't kill Messi, but man, I love how you play. These are opposing fans as well.
Right.
I thought for sure I was gonna get booed, even by my own fans. I thought I was gonna get booed, until you gain the respect of the fans, and you really want to be there and you show that you can play and you deserve a spot. I thought for sure I was gonna get booed every single game, but it was a total opposite, man. Total opposite. So for me, going to that situation, the perfect situation with that team, like I said, I always had confidence in myself, and I knew it just took. It was going to take a good situation, the right situation, to get me back to, to playing like how I knew I could play. And I always wanted to play in that style, in that kind of style of football. Spain,
that's
Mexico,
exactly what I was going to say.
South America. That's what I loved.
Because it's funny, because when I hear you talk about the type of player you were in Chicago and how Bob would tell you to let go of the ball and you wouldn't pass it. Well, I had the privilege and honor of playing with you in 2010 World Cup, and from there on, with the national team. I remember how good of a passer you were. Yeah. I remember how intelligent.
People take that for granted, and people take that for granted. Like, I love it. I think that people don't think I can pass the ball. It's crazy though. Like, oh no, he's not a good passer, but yeah, I actually am. I actually am.
Beas, you're easily one of the smartest U.S. men's national team players I've played with, and I've played with you as a left midfielder. I played with you as a left back, which we will get into in a bit. But do you feel you're underrated in that sense that people have not given you your due?
And I wouldn't say underrated. I think there's fans or people that's gonna like you, and then people that's don't. Everyone has their own critics. No, there's no one in the world that everyone that a player that fans like. Every single person. I mean, there are people that don't think Messi's good, huh? There's people that don't think that Ronaldo's not that great.
Right.
Really? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can't get caught up in that kind of stuff, But as far as the only thing that I would say is being an underrated passer. I would say that because, for me, you actually need teammates like I love that style of football, passing. Because I mean, and I got that when I obviously with Bob when we started, but then in Holland, that's all you do.
Right.
Sometimes it's boring. I mean, you cannot lose the ball in Holland. You can't. I mean, if you got to go backwards 10 times, you go backwards 10 times. That's how Hiddink played. How he coached. And so I got that kind of style in me to make sure be good with the ball, make the right pass, and I think I was definitely an underrated passer for sure.
For sure, and that's very much the style that exists in Mexico, especially back then. You
Yeah.
talk about being liked. You know who liked you a lot? The Puebla police. They liked
Man, they loved me because I was giving them free money.
So you used to get pulled over all the time?
All the time. My first probably not even a year, probably like 7-8 months. Herc, I'm not exaggerating. I was getting pulled over once a week. No, man, it's not funny.
I remember hearing about this, and then because for people who don't know, like when I was in Torreon and I played for Santos, the city's called Torreon. I had a black Camaro, and mine was the only black Camaro in the town, so you would identify me.
Yeah, same thing. I had the Camaro. Yeah, dog, I'm telling you, there's literally every week I would get stopped. They would ask me for my, and I wasn't doing nothing. They would ask me for my license. They'd be like, okay, let me see your license. I'm like, nah, because obviously I talked to my teammates. They're like, yo, Beas, do not give them your license because they're gonna if you don't give them money, they're gonna take it down to the station. You gotta make a big deal. It's gonna take you 2 or 3 days to get your license back. So it's like, yo, don't give me your license. Always keep like 200 pesos, 300 pesos in your console, and then you can give it to me.
You're overpaying, Beas.
Yo, let me finish. So first couple times, it was like, okay, I gave, 200, 300 pesos, and that was it. But then the cops started asking me, for more. They would say, all right, well, if you give me 500, then you can go. So I'd be like, all right. You know me, I just want to get out. I'm like, here, take it. So I mean, like for the first like 7-8 times I got stopped, I paid every single time. Single time. So then the thing that, before I don't want to get off too track, but the thing that really made me, because at first it was like, I just felt, it was the culture, it's what it is. Because I mean, the players did tell me, it's like, yo, Beas, when you get stopped, just keep, $200-300 in your pesos in your console so you can give it to the cop if they, they ask for money or whatever. So at the beginning, I just thought it was part of the game. It's part of it. It's what you got to do. No problem. So I didn't really think anything of it. But the one time was that, and this is when I, obviously I spoke and went on my Twitter and all that stuff about it back in the day, was that this cop stopped me. It was probably about maybe 11 o'clock at night. I was going home. Obviously, no, just going home. I went to eat, going home, and the cop stopped me, and he says, where are you going? I was like, I'm going home. He's like, have you been drinking? I'm like, no. I was like, I'm literally right here.
Right.
And I was like, you can see, I was like, I'm literally right there. And he was like, all right, well, you need to give me, 500 or whatever. No, this was, I think it was like 2,000 pesos, something like that, something crazy. And I was like,
$100.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have it. And he's like, all right, well, give me a license. I'm like, no, I'm not giving you a license. He's like, no, you have to. Okay, well, give me money. I was like, and I literally, I remember to this day, I'm in my driver's seat, and I'm showing him. I'm lifting up my thing. I pull up my pockets, like this, and I don't have any money. Physically showing him that I don't. I was like, man, I don't have any money. He's like, all right, there's an ATM machine right down the street. Herc, I'm not. This cop said, yo, there's an ATM. Herc, I'm telling you this. I can't make it up. He followed me to the ATM machine.
Oh yes, I believe it.
I'm standing like I'm sitting down now, but I'm standing. He stood like right behind me. We went to the ATM machine. I pulled out, I think it was like 1,500 pesos, 2,000 pesos, or whatever it was, and I I took the money. I said, here you go. He's like, all right, have a good night, and walked away. A policeman told me, he's like, yo, there's an 18 machine right down the street.
Yeah. I wish I could.
So he followed me. I don't think people understand.
Latin America,
follow me.
That the corruption is prevalent, and that type of thing happens all the time.
Yeah.
Sidebar really quickly, I will tell you a brief story. My first time in Puebla that I started getting a little fame. I started scoring goals. I irresponsibly one night got in my car after having a few drinks, and I'm not talking about like drunk. I'm talking about having a few drinks. But in the United States, if you have a few drinks and they catch you, it could be a DUI. You don't have to be drunk.
Right.
So they pull me over, and I'm freaking out because I'm thinking, man, in the U.S. it's $10,000 fine. My name's in the papers. All that. I'm gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
Like, I'm freaking out. He comes up to me and he asks for my license, and he flashes a light in front of my eyes, and he goes, "Herculez?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Have you been drinking?" I was like, "Yeah, I had a few drinks." And he's like, "Ah." And he goes, "Hold on." And he whistles to his partner, and he goes and talks to his partner, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And he literally comes back and he goes, "Get in the front seat." And I went, "Huh?" Get in the front seat. He gets in the car. He drives me like 5 blocks to where I live, drops me off, him and his partner, and says, "Hey, we're big fans."
Oh.
I gave him everything I had in my pocket.
Yeah, right. That's who you want to give it to. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's a very different culture in Latin America, and football is king. And by the way, I am admitting I did the wrong thing. I wasn't drunk, but you should never.
I hear you. Right. Yeah, we all make mistakes, but I mean, for that to happen, that happened, whatever. But my time in Mexico, I loved it. The country, the city, the people, the food. Oh man, that was probably that's probably like the top 2 places that I lived in to play soccer.
Wow.
Yeah, I really Herc. I really enjoyed Puebla. I really enjoyed not just because I was playing and playing well, but just the whole the whole vibe of just the 3 years that I was there. How I got treated. Obviously, things with the ownership was different, but I mean, just from the fans, the city,
right?
The people, my teammates. We had some good years. We had some bad years too, but just from that part of it and the football stance, the football part of it was great. It was great.
Now we've gone a little over an hour. I don't want to take too much of your time. I want to finish up with the Dynamo and some other things, some dynamics. But just walk me through. Now you're in Houston. You're a designated player. You played in MLS's infancy, and now you're coming back to when Major League Soccer it's at its prime. It's gaining attraction. It's gaining notice. Players around the world are starting to ask and come and want to know what it's about. Fans, it's growing in attendance. What's it like when you come back to Major League Soccer?
Man, it was like a kid on Christmas, all the new lights and the new bells and whistles and all that, I left MLS when there were 14 teams, maybe 12, 14, 12. Something like that. Yeah, 12 teams. I think there were 12 teams when I left, and it was up to like 20 something. When I came back, teams had their own stadiums, trade facilities. Because obviously, if it was a long trip, we would go a day early or 2 days early. 2 days early, and train at that team's facility. And I mean, the facilities were phenomenal. Some of these places that we were going to in the States, and to see that and to see the fans, even the media, people like, well, you weren't media then, but now the media,
now. The
media coverage, the fans, just the sponsorships, the everything was heightened 100 times more than what when I left it. So I mean, for me being American, starting my career in MLS, to see that and see how far it grew, in that short of time was pretty amazing, pretty remarkable.
Beas, I want to go back through memory lane to you. Short little dynamics. It's been an unbelievable talk, but I want to promise to get you going right now. We're gonna do a little, I guess, trip down memory lane. So I want you really quickly, from what you've seen, what's the best MLS team of all time?
Ooh, MLS team, man. Can I be biased?
Yes, absolutely. Please.
Because I know there were some good teams through the time I was in Europe, Mexico. Those 11, 12, 13, whatever, however long I was in outside of the country. So I can't really say one of those teams because I didn't see it. I wasn't there. Day in and day out. So for me, I have to say that I gotta say my 2000 Chicago Fire. Have to. We went to the final. Obviously, we didn't win. We got KC beat us that year, but we won the Open Cup that season. But that team that year, it was special. We literally go ahead.
I was gonna say, how would that team do today in Major League Soccer?
We'd be fine. You telling me that Peter? No, I'm talking about even at that age. Peter was.
Oh, Peter was a crack.
Oh man, he didn't stop running. The way he played. Lubos and CJ. Back then, Stoichkov, but back then when defenders defended, not just trying to be pretty and this and that and be the best player as far as like passing and trying to score goals off headers. Defenders that defended and love to defend. I'm not saying they don't do that now. Don't get me wrong.
That's what you're saying. It sounds like that's what you're saying.
Nah, don't get me wrong. Don't put that. I'm not saying that.
No, I know what you mean. Like true defenders, not
true defenders.
The back.
Yeah. All the pretties. Just defenders that just love to defend. We had that. Our midfield was crazy with Jesse and Chris, Dima, Peter. Myself, Wolfie, Ante.
Josh. Man. Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then Storch. Just think of this three. Storch kind of like tilted to the left. Ante up top and Wolfie on the right.
Wow.
Man, you telling me what?
You got two players that can crack a ball. One with the left foot in Ante, and one with the right foot in Stoichkov. And then you got Josh Wolf, who's one of the most intelligent players I've ever played with.
Yeah. We got goals. We got tenacity in the midfield with Jesse and Chris with how smart they were. Dima, doing this, we always need that bulldog in the team, And Chris was that. Chris was that because he got around the field and he broke up passes. But Dima was just a little bit. He was a little bit extra.
Dima will break your ankle and not think about it twice. Trust me,
he's a little bit extra. So, man, I gotta say for just to be biased. I know people are gonna say, what about LAFC and this and that, and but for me, that. And I don't want to disrespect like the DCs before, but I didn't play then.
Right.
In 98s and 99s when they won everything. So because obviously I'm sure if Tony Sana hears this, he's gonna be like, man, Beas, you didn't say 98 DC United. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, but I'm like, man, I didn't play against y'all back then. You know what I'm saying? So like there's a couple of the LA teams were good.
They won, I believe, 2 international titles as well.
Exactly, but I didn't play against, I didn't play against them. I didn't see them, what I'm saying? So I can't say them when I didn't. Like, I'm not going to say any team from 2004 to 2014, no 10 years, I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say, okay, that team was good. This team, I can't say that, So the teams that I played or that I was with, I have to, just being biased, I got to say 2000 Chicago Fire.
All right. You were with a lot of these teams. What's the best U.S. men's national team of all time?
Ooh, lineup?
No, I'll take your lineup right now, but I want just the best team. Was it 2002, 2006, 2010, 2014? I know it wasn't the 2006 because
it was. Definitely won 2006. Yeah, definitely won 2006.
And you guys were ranked third in the world.
I know, man. Yeah, we. I dropped the ball on that too. I had so much. I had it was a lot of. I had a lot more responsibility than I did in 2002, and I dropped the ball. I was disappointed in myself with that. Personally with that World Cup, but the best team. Oh man, I would say, man. I mean, that's tough, man. It's obviously it's either 2002 or I want to say 2014. I would say 2002. I would say 2002. Yeah, I would say.
Run.
Yeah, and not because I think 2014, 2010, definitely more talent.
Right.
Hands, man for man. Those two teams have more talent than the 2002 team. For sure. For man to man.
Right.
More talent, but the closeness of that group in 2002 was special. Like you really felt it. You know, not that the other ones didn't, but I think that what we had in 2002, you know, kind of steps apart off the field, steps apart. That makes the difference from 2010 and 2014, because those teams are way more talented. Not way more talented, but more talented than 2002 team. You know, because you know you got the players that we had in 2014. But I think 2002 was the best all around, just team, but group of guys.
It's funny you say that, because I've had this argument with other pundits or experts about how the 2002 team was a better team, but 2010 and 2014 had better talent. Like the pool was better. And they seem to 100% disagree with me.
No, you're 100% right. You know, now, I mean, the pool is, it's, you have so many players you can choose from now. You know, whether they deserve to go national team or not, that's a whole different story. We can talk about that that's a whole different podcast show. You know, our opinions of what players, but the pool of players is so much bigger than it was back then. You know. That part is for sure. You know, like you said, I mean, you touched on it before. You said, you know, the kids nowadays, were they more talented now?
Yeah.
Than they were before? Yeah, I think so. Like you said, they have resources, the training, the environments that they're getting. The environment. I mean, I was like when I was 14, 15, I was coming from my club team in Fort Wayne. I mean, these guys are playing, you know, if they're good enough, they might even train with the first team, with whatever city that they're in. Or they're playing against, you know, the Chicago Fire juniors or the Portland Timbers juniors or the Seattle. There's guys that in professional environments train every day. I ain't had that. I was training on a cow field by myself and my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have that environment, those resources to actually get better and be better and play at that level when I was, 13, 14. I had to go with the U17s to get that, and that's why they did it. You know,
absolutely. All right,
and that was only, but that's only a select few of players. You know, it was only 24 of us. You know, now it's it's hundreds of kids.
Now there's 24 in each city.
Exactly. You know, so but that part, the talent wise and the talent pool and just the pool of players was definitely, it's a lot bigger now than it was then.
For sure. For sure. Let's see. Best MLS player you've ever seen.
Oh, man. Best MLS player I've ever seen. I'm going to... I can't... Do I have to pick one?
One.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm going to say... Man. I mean... Because everyone, I know who you think I'm going to say, because, Charlie Candle, you say, this.
No, I'm not saying Charlie Candle. Not the best MLS ever for me.
No?
No.
Oh, man. Best ever. I mean, I gotta go with that DC team. It's either Jaime or
player. You're going to go with Jaime or Echeverry?
Yeah.
Over Landon?
Oh, I forgot about Larry. I didn't know he counted.
Why do you call him Larry?
Okay. I think for the impact, 100%. 100% Larry. I mean, he made the league. He was the league. He was the league. It wasn't even like he made it. He was the league, And I mean, he still is. Now he has an MVP named after him.
Yeah. Which is weird, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, no, that's a good shout. I wasn't thinking Landon because I know he went the year, all that kind of stuff.
No. Why do you call him Larry?
We just got a nickname. We got a nickname.
What's your nickname? What do you call you?
Mark. Larry and Mark. Yeah, that's my dog, man. Yeah, Larry and Mark. Yeah, so. But no, yeah, I agree with that. Landon, yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah.
This is where it gets tricky. The best U.S. men's national team player of all time.
Oh, man.
There are a few in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'll say my top three, and then I'll say the one that I think is the best.
Okay.
Claudio.
Okay.
Landon and Clint.
Yeah.
Those three. This is my opinion.
Those are my opinions.
Obviously, everyone has their own opinions of who they think they're the best and this and that, blah blah blah. But for me, playing with in that era, in 2000 with the older guys, that era. Now, coming with the guys now, But yeah, I got the edge goes for me is to Landon.
Landon.
I think he's not just how he played and how impactful he was, in games that we really needed him. He was for me. For me, he's a GOAT. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and opinions differ on this because my personal opinion is Clint, because I've never played with a competitor like Clint. He's got like that Mamba mentality about him. You know? That's the differentiating factor for me. It's what Clint does with that mentality and where kind of his story, where he's come from, how much he's done at the level he's done it for so long. Consistently. I don't think. But Landon, I mean, you're splitting hairs. That's the thing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, really. You can't go wrong with either one of them, to be honest. Right. But I just I'm talking about like just from the whole career, because I was with Landon from the beginning. To see,
so much.
See all that stuff, that especially when he was at a young age to do what he did. That was special, So for me, that's why, and that's the tip for me, to be able to I was seeing Landon, in 2000 Landon Donovan, 2001 Landon, 2002 Landon,
right.
So seeing that throughout his whole career, I got to give it to Larry.
I played with Landon in the national team and in LA Galaxy, and we're the same age. And I played with players like Cuauhtemoc Blanco, Giovinco, Sambuesa, like very talented players.
Yeah.
And the thing that's always set Landon apart, and that I always say, out of anybody I've ever played with, he's the one player that always does what he's supposed to do. If he's supposed to shoot, he shoots. If he's supposed to pass the ball, he passes the ball.
Yeah.
He's just got that innate ability for reading the moment.
Yeah, he does. He was a smart player. Smarter. And I'm sure that even the older guys will tell you, even at a young age, at 19, 20, you can see, how smart of a football player he was. He made the right pass. Like you said, he did most things right. The easy things that people take for granted. If you need to make a 5-yard pass, you make a 5-yard pass.
Which
you don't make a 5-yard pass. Yeah, which is exactly. So I think that part, set Landon apart. For me, that's my opinion.
Yeah. All right, Beas. Last one, and then we're letting you go. Give me your U.S. men's national team best 11 all time. Okay. Who do you got in goal?
In goal, going with Timmy. Going to that's probably the hardest. That's probably the hardest.
Yeah, because it's the best position we've ever played.
Exactly. Because I played with Frito and Casey a little bit with Tony. And literally all four of those were great goalkeepers.
You played with Tony Meola?
I played with. That's what I'm saying. Like the names that I was naming off that LA team, like Herculez, like I played, like I was with them. I played against them. I was with them. Even like Alexi and Robin Freda, Marcelo, all the old, national team guys. You know what I'm saying? So right. I'm old, man. I know. Let me be.
I know.
Look, I got the grades are coming in. I'm telling you.
You don't got to tell me, brother. I got the grades too. All right, give me your two center backs.
All right, now I'm going with a back three.
Oh, back three. Wow. Go ahead.
Back three. Yeah, back three. So my back three, Eddie Pope.
Okay.
I think I didn't. Yeah, Eddie Pope, Carlos,
Boca,
and I think it was Marcelo.
Balboa. All right.
Balboa. Okay. That's my three.
All right. How about on the right?
Stevie. Hands down.
Underlow.
Yeah, he was probably like the first one I put on that list.
It's
Stevie,
very easy.
You know what you're gonna get from Stevie.
That's right.
Steve. Okay, so I'm going with a little bit more of an attacking, team. So Claudio in the middle with. These you can be different. Either with Landon in the middle with him, or it could be Christian.
Pulisic.
I'm already putting Christian in it.
I don't. It's your team. Who's on the left?
Me.
Of course.
Me. Gotta put. I'm myself on the left, and then I'm going with. No. Oh yeah. Then I'm going with Clint, Landon, and y'all gonna kill me with this one.
Who?
I need a number 9 in my team because I'm going for a 3-4-3 system.
Okay.
So got 3 in the back. I got Steve on the right. I got, Claudio as a defensive midfielder, but obviously he'll play at number 10 anyway. But
Right.
with Christian or Landon right there, myself on the left, I got that, and then I got Clint or Landon or Christian on the wing, so they can go back and forth to 10 or a wing. Number 9, who you think I picked for my number 9?
Man, I would have said Josie, but I'm thinking you're gonna say McBride now.
No.
Your number 9's got to be. Is it Wijnaldum?
I went with Ronaldo.
Wow, why?
Because I think it was I think to be like a true number 9. Obviously McBride is played it up. I mean, I played with both of them. I played with Ronaldo too.
Josie's gonna kill you, bro.
Huh? No, Josie. Oh, did I put Josie in the lineup?
No.
Then I must have miscounted. Wait, 1, 2, because I wrote it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's Clint, and then Wijnaldum up top. You got Claudio Pulisic, LD, Beasley. You got Pope, Boca, Balboa, Stevie Cherundolo, and Howard. You left Josie out.
Oh, I did, didn't I? Oh, let me change it. I'm going with Josie.
Yeah, of course. Okay. No offense to Wijnaldum.
Yeah. No offense to Eric. Yeah, because I play with Eric too. I play with Eric in Chicago.
I like your lineup. It's a decent lineup, and I'm sure it's going to make a lot of U.S. men's national team fans cry right now.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to, because obviously I think that some of the older generation, they were good. They were good players. This is great players. You know
Listen,
what I'm saying? So
Eddie Pope.
it's not because people only remember now. People only remember now. They remember now because of social media. They don't remember 20 years ago what the U.S. national team looked like and how the players played. How they trained and how they went about their business. So for me, I gotta pay homage to some of those guys that play, because I look at players today and they were if not more talented than players we have now. So I gotta pay homage to some of the older guys for sure.
Yeah, Beas, I thank you for your time. I said it'd be an hour. We've done an hour 30-something minutes, and we didn't get to talk about the 2018 campaign. That'll be for some other time. I'm still upset because it could have been Penta World Cup for DaMarcus Beasley.
Man.
5 World Cups. I'm still upset.
Yeah, me too. I still had that memory. That memory will never be forgotten. That disappointing feeling that you felt. We failed. End of the day, we failed. The one game to go through to a World Cup, and we failed. We didn't get it done. You can talk about what happened, coaches, the U.S. soccer as a whole, blah blah blah, whatever. But the players on the field, we didn't get it done, and that feeling, I think that was obviously the most disappointing, part in my whole career. Not just going to my 5th, just going to a World Cup, and have it one game. Win, draw, and you go, and we didn't do it. So that all do with me for real.
Yeah. Well, Beas, I thank you so much for your time, man. I could talk to you for hours. It's been that fun. I really appreciate you coming on, and hopefully there's more of these down in the future.
Yeah, for sure, man. Let me know. It was fun.
All right, take care.
All right, Herc. Good seeing you, man.
I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah,
Be well.
Ciao.